Well, that was something. I don't know what to say that something, is yet. But it definitely was into Infinity and beyond. So Lightyear was an interesting movie going into it, considering it's Buzz Lightyear movie. Considering it's about Buzz Lightyear, one of the biggest characters in 3D animation, let alone animation in general, alongside the other Toy Story characters, especially since his personality in the world this character came from are described in those movies sounded, awesome. So why not make a movie about Buzz Lightyear? So they did, in 2000. Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, The Adventure Begins, a direct-to-DVD movie in 2D animation meant to be the star of a Buzz Lightyear cartoon, where the movie had Tim Allen reprise the role, and Patrick Warburton took over for the show. I didn't watch the TV show, but I'd seen the movie, and it's a good movie for what it is. It's not fantastic or necessary to put in theaters for its story or runtimes, still, it worked for what it should be, where it parodied the tropes of other Saturday morning cartoons at the time, and it was pretty funny and imaginative, creating the universe I would think Buzz Lightyear would come from. Maybe I would have enjoyed the cartoon if I grew up with it, but I didn't. Instead, kids this generation can watch the new version of the Buzz Lightyear story, who, is technically a fictional toy turned real toy in our world, but this is his origin story. For all the wrong reasons. So director Angus McLean said he always wanted to see what movie inspired Andy from Toy Story to get Buzz Lightyear action figure. What the hell does that mean? He got it as a surprise gift, or I presumed anyways, but as I just said, they did do this already, but I was interested to see what Pixar themselves would come up with. I mean, it could be different and maybe even better since it's done by people who made the other Pixar films. I mean, it's not technically people who created Buzz behind it, they're just producers, while the screenplay credits go to McLean and Jason Headley. So what did they come up for Buzz's all-new origins? Well, from the first teaser, I thought it was going to be a sci-fi masterpiece, like the way they would animate space travel or Buzz's love as a pilot or space or something, but the second teaser suggested time travel would be involved. So that's why they got Chris Evans to replace Tim Allen. Because, like Captain America, he's a man out of time. And more recognizable. And he's recognizable. I'll say this, they kind of needed this, not for reasons you want them to be like a great story, but they needed a recognizable property so they can have a theatrical release, since Disney made their, last three movies straight to Disney Plus, which for Soul and Luca, even the people at Pixar understood, but turned red when I went to see the 355. I didn't remember that movie at this point, I saw Disney saying its theatrical release would be cut. The people at Pixar were furious. Disney had so much lack of confidence with them doing what they want. I do think the movie was honestly made because they wanted to make this. Pixar may not have the perfect track record. They hadn't to do thousands anymore, but I always believe they make movies because they want to, not for, or, just because of cash grabs. But, that doesn't, but that can make a great, but that doesn't mean they can make a great film every single time. So some movies are just okay, or personally I didn't like them, the car sequels. And here's the thing, they needed to have a movie that could show financial stability. It is based on something proven popular and successful prior, and it does take years for these movies to come into fruition. So for whatever reasons people, for the reasons people are gonna either love, hate, or the other can of worms this movie will produce, I'll give my thoughts. So with that said, what is the movie actually about? Well, so, what would you do if you could write the origins of Buzz Lightyear? Well, I do more than what this movie did. I don't know what yet, but I would try to do more. The movie follows Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Chris Evans, a space ranger in Star Command, looking for a planet where other members of Star Command can colonize, but on the only planet they find in this movie, it turns out to not be livable due to vague dangerous things, so he tries to get the ship that contains everyone on it off the planet. Yes, they have like one ship that brings everyone on. Like, they have different ships, so, I don't know. Right, so, oh yeah, it turns out to not be livable due to, big dangerous things. So he tries to get the ship they landed that has everyone on it off the planet, but he accidentally crashes the ship and everyone gets marooned on this world we never even got a made-up name for. And if it did, I don't remember. Which leaves Buzz feeling guilty for this, and I have to presume what other people think of him for it. I'll get into this in a bit, don't worry. So his good friend and commanding officer Alisha Hawthrone, voiced by Uzo Aduba, come up for a plan together to use a smaller ship to go to hyperspeed around the sun to recharge a power source that can get the bigger ship powered up again to get everyone back home. The first time Buzz tries it, turns out that while his mission only took 4 minutes to try, it does the time travel nonsense and 4 years pass on the planet. So every time he tries it, 4 more years pass and time passes on by for the other Space Rangers who learn to make lives for themselves on this world, including starting families, while Buzz keeps trying and failing. Eventually, his therapy robot Cat Socked, voiced by the guy who made the Good Dinosaur, Sohn, figures out the correct version or recreation of this dinosaur so Buzz can try to do it one last time. And when it seems like it did work, he comes back to the planet to fight under invasion from aliens and robots led by an unknown enemy called Zurg. So Buzz has to learn to work. So Buzz has to learn teamwork to team up with a group of rookies to stop Zurg while making sure the power source, looking up, it's called hyperspace fuel, isn't destroyed in the process, so he can finally fix his mistakes and get everyone off the planet. But maybe there's more going on. I wish. So, what did I think? Well, for the movie that many people, I'm sure, were wondering how does this work in the Toy Story canon, I guess. Well, considering this was made by the guy who actually animated the 3D animated opening for the direct-to-DVD movie where the Toy Story characters actually watched the movie, and this movie, he didn't even think of how it was going to be framed as, so they made it obvious that it was a last-minute choice, that the movie begins with a black screen with white letters saying, "This is Andy's favorite movie," and he had to get the Buzz Lightyear toy based on the movie he watched in 1995. This is one of the worst framing devices I've ever seen in any medium, since it's obvious that that's not true, and it makes it worse since they wanted to make the movie its own thing. So why frame it like this? He is the same character, since the world, the tone, Buzz himself is not the same. I mean, they wanted to do their own thing, but this isn't that movie. Look, this movie is way too serious, but they make sure you have forced jokes, which are pretty 50-50. Sometimes I laugh, but even good jokes are forced over way too serious moments for me to care even a little. And that's the movie's biggest problem. I didn't care. I never once thought something bad wouldn't be resolved in a good way or care for Buzz's dilemma, since how poor it's set up and feels first draft. Buzz's dilemma is not explored. He's willing to risk his own life in more ways than one to fix this mistake, but I don't know what the full extent of his mistake is. Buzz only interacts with one person, Alisha, who starts a family and still supports Buzz, but we never get to know any other members of Star Command, and those you get maybe a name of, I don't know what they think of the situation, since Buzz never interacts with them. Like, some of them support his mission, but I don't actually know what they think of him, for getting them in this position in the first place. He feels guilty, but I don't know. We never see anyone angry at him at this, or, so it's hard to really feel bad for him, but that's just this section of the movie. So, most of this movie is him and these 3 rookies who are scrubs trying to get off planet, I think, to get to Zurg's ship to take him down, but their journey is doing so... but their journey along the way is so bland. These side characters, I don't even care to mention their names. They are just so generic and boring. Like, compared to the direct-to-DVD movie with lesser time, they made it clear who the characters were and how they parodied the archetype they come from, but they still work as characters that aren't just one-dimensional. And here, they're just annoying archetypes. You got a person who wants to prove herself to her family and heroes. That's it. A clumsy person who wants to prove himself. That's it. And the wild card, who's an old lady. The main quality all of them share is that they're screw-ups. The ironic thing is, Buzz's arc with these 3 is the exact same. Okay, not exact same. It's actually, here it's a lot lesser arc he has with the, rookies in the direct-to-DVD movie, which was that he didn't like to work with unprofessionals due to both ego and fear. And here, it's just out of fear, but also these 3 don't prove themselves. Like, yes, it's important to learn from mistakes, but these 3 are so incompetent, I still wouldn't trust them. And if they did do a few things right, they make too many mistakes that ruin any sense of them feeling... No, not competent. No, the right word would be cool, because speaking of cool, what did they do wrong with being cool with this movie? Oh, Zurg! I'm not going to spoil, but let's just say the voice actor they got for him, James Brolin, would have made more sense if they got Tim Allen instead. I know that's only going to make sense if you saw this movie, but I don't know. I'd like Zurg to find this movie. His motivation as a villain wasn't great or the same, but it was interesting, and I liked his redesign, but I still didn't care since the movie remained predictable about what would happen next. Things that foreshadowed, you'll know what will come back into the story, and even the movie's ending didn't make too much sense since I felt like it could have been a solution to the movie's entire problem. Not like, I feel like it's going to say one thing, but like the ending shot, I'm like, wait, what? But okay, look, there's more to complain about, but was there anything I liked about the movie? I mean, it still looks great. It's very unimaginative, but I like the voice cast. The characters weren't great, but Chris Evans was good as Buzz. And most of the time, I did think he was his character. Too bad this movie doesn't treat Buzz the same character as the Toy Story movies. I left the theater with my 10-year-old brother, and we both thought it was just okay. It's better than Jurassic World Dominion, but this was way more underwhelming and even disappointing, and comes down to this being just okay in every department. This world is not great, but it's okay. The characters are not great, but they work. The animation, it's good, but not Pixar's best. Buzz in this movie, he's just okay. At least for some things, like repeating lines from those Toy Story movies, it never bothered me. It works since most of these lines would be his catchphrases as a toy. So, you know, if if the toy is based on him from this movie, sure. But his iconic elements like the laser weapon or his wings, he gets them as the story goes along. One of those origin stories that doesn't make you rethink the character or learn anything new. You just now find out, oh, so that's how he got the thing. I mean, it's better than Solo, I guess. It's not like someone says, your last name will now be Lightyear because, I don't know, space reasons. Or, I don't know, he gets a buzz cut and someone's like, we should just call you Buzz. But this movie is still a mediocre mess with more to criticize and praise. It's not Pixar's worst, but it's light years from their best. I don't know what's next for Pixar, but I hope it's a return to infinity and beyond. I give Lightyear a 5 out of 10.